Here we are, Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. BD Turnkey Engines for the brand new LS engine. And here we go. We have Jason, who has just purchased this beautiful engine from this gentleman here.
Hello, Brian,
who
BD Turnkey Engines
has done the excellent work of putting it all together for us. And we will now have a trouble-free year and engine-free problems.
Yeah.
So, sir, give us a little tour of the shop, please.
If you don't mind.
Well, back here, here's the engine we're working on right now. Going here, here's the dyno that had your engine on last week. I think your stuff is still up here. We should hit play and
It's on. Awesome.
it replays the last log that was on there. Here's your stuff from HP Tuners.
Nice.
Here. You can see the pull here.
That's excellent.
Things a lot of people are interested in is like, you know, wide open. That's probably where we were making peak power. So, you know, I want to see 12.8 AFR is commanded. So we were at 12.9. So a tenth of an AFR off. Injector duty cycle's pretty good on these. With these injectors, you're only at 63% injector duty cycle. So, you know, that was at almost 6,400.
Wow.
Very
Timing
nice.
advance, no knock retard. I was monitoring oil pressure. Oil pressure is a mechanical gauge on the drive-by cable engines.
Okay.
So 2003 drive-by-wire and newer, I can see it here.
You can see it there.
And how long have you been doing these engines now?
12, 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your engine is, let's see if we can, it's probably all bundled up in there. I think yours is number 468 or something like that. We're coming up on 500 engines
Awesome.
we've done.
Right on.
Yeah. Come on,
Well,
Finn.
there's the camera hog.
This will be great. Yeah, we raced Virginia City. You know, we were like almost 80 miles into pit 2, almost to pit 2, and caught a rock in the crankshaft and it spun the belt off and it flipped up and hit our fuel regulator and we had a flash fire. And the extinguisher system put it out, but they took out some electronics and obviously the fuel regulator was toast. So after that, that's when we're like, you know what, we just need to get a newer motor upgrade. So that's what we're going to do.
You know, anything can happen.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like you guys have been doing it long enough. I've been kind of involved with a variety of teams and personal stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the last thing you'll think of. You'll have 3 alternators in the truck, and you won't use an alternator on a trip. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. It's the stupidest little things. You know,
it's just a lot of people have problems racing, and I don't think they can accept that there's still a portion of luck
oh, yeah.
involved, and that you have no control of.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. As you see here, we're met up with Brian Dacus. He's the owner-operator of BD Turnkey Engines in Reno. Myself and friends and team members, John and Scott, went up with me and met up with Brian at his shop to pick up our new engine. I reached out to Brian about a month ago. Told him what we needed for our race truck as far as a new engine package, and I knew right away that it was going to be a good partnership to have him our engine guy and engine provider. The knowledge that this gentleman has about these motors is phenomenal, and for me, being a rookie with the newer LS technology, he's exactly the guy that I would want to team up with to help me navigate this new engine package. He put one together that's going to be super reliable horsepower. I'm very confident we won't have any of the heating issues that we had with our older iron block power plant. This is all aluminum LS3 LQ9 package. Good modest horsepower and torque. we're looking for longevity, and this gentleman really hooked us up. So as you see here, we're doing a little shop tour, and he's going to go into some really finite stuff that these engines do and how he can tune them. So it's pretty cool.
So here's your, there's a couple criteria for power enrichment. So when we're going to command 12.8 from, say, stoichiometric 14.7 at idle, okay? But this is the main one. So this is RPM, and this is throttle position. So you can see that at, you know, I don't know where you guys are going to be cruising at. You could easily be in the 3,000 to 4,000 range.
That's right around where we'll.
So it doesn't take a lot of throttle to command that 12.8. You got to get way out of the throttle and down in RPMs for it to lean it out.
Yeah.
But that's what, you know, an engine will make on my dyno, and in most times dynos will make peak power at 13.1. But that's fine for a drag race. It's a 10-second pull, and the guy's done. You're off the throttle.
Yeah.
But for endurance racing, like my engines in the airplanes, I command 12.8 in cruise, even at 50% throttle, because it keeps EGTs down. It keeps them cooler. They just don't like to run. Well, it's a smaller engine. 1-liter engines like to run fat, anyways. But to keep these alive, we gotta run at 12.8.
Yeah.
We do throttle timers in aviation. So if you're pulling RPM, say high RPM above some of this, it'll even start to enrich in this by a half a point. So if you go, like if I'm on a climb out and I'm over 30, 45 seconds up in this range, it'll drop this another half point and go to 12.3.
Wow.
Just because we always err on safety versus fuel consumption or anything like that.
So you might have answered the big question, because at idle and cruising around and even testing when we're short testing and stuff, the tips would be fine within range. But as soon as we got out and really opened it up, they would just slowly coming up, and you could.
But you maintain that 12.8?
I don't know. It would change. Yeah.
To what?
Gosh, my eyes are on.
Above 13, you see 3?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you want to get it. You got to get it down. 12.8 would be for endurance. I don't want to see more than 12.8. Like track guys that do, you know, that's where what's nice is when you get into aftermarket ECMs and systems, you have a lot more control. I don't have a throttle timer with GM EFI. I use it Haltech or something like that, Motec, you know, Link, AEM, any of those. You have throttle timers, so it's common in track racing where you got an aggressive driver. If he stays in the throttle, you'll have something like this, but it's got time here. So there's a time component to this table. So if you're up here and 30 seconds goes by, it drops it again.
Right.
And that's what you want to see. So guys that race around tracks, you know, the tuner will have it set where you have, how far does he have to get? So you might have to be for 10 seconds below 26% TPS for it to go back to 12.8.
Right.
So there's all these criteria, and that's how the tuner saves these engines with aggressive drivers.
Yeah.
Because the driver can't be thinking about that. The co-driver can't even really be thinking about that.
And that's the thing is, my co-driver would call out the temperature, and I'm, gosh, you know, and
you don't need to be worried about that.
I'm doing this at 90 miles an hour, you know, and we're trying to like brainstorm real quick.
What are you using for engine for monitoring or engine management?
Well, it was pretty much all through the dash held device for the Summit unit. You know,
Okay. What are you going to do now?
So we don't have Motec. We got a race pack, complete race pack system that's going to be integrated into it. You know, all the sensors.
Because that's what I would really, race pack, I'm not familiar with, I mean, I know the race pack brand, but I'm not familiar with using it.
Yeah.
I use AEM for aviation, and then we're migrating to Haltech because Holly bought AEM, and they're eliminating some components. But the advantage to all those, like I've spent 500 hours of test flights setting up a display, an engine monitoring system that has all these safety features built into it. So a co-driver or even a driver, you know, it's nice is if you have a small display here that you can glance at periodically, and then he has one. But basically you can look down at my display and it has all the cautions are yellow and warnings are red. Caution is like, okay, get out of the throttle, calm down a little bit. Red is like, okay, you need to stop, pull over, land, whatever. But the display monitors all those critical criteria for you. So if a piece of data gets out of range, it's going to warn you.
Exactly.
The big yellow light's going to come on, and then the dash is going to start blinking of what component is the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly. I've had the raceback system for a while, I didn't want to go through the hassle of rewiring the truck until we go through an engine swap. So that fire kind of provoked that a little quicker. So now that we've got this newer technology, the race pack's going to be integrated in it. And I'll probably be leaning on you a little bit for some info.
The bummer part about, you know, any of those systems with this EFI is it's what I refer to as Gen 1 GM.
So during our visit with Brian, we were only there about an hour. I could have spent all day and just asked him so many questions, but I learned more in this hour with him than my entire, life trying to learn motors, especially these new LS stuff. Right here, he's explaining to me and really enlightening me on really good information about different dash packs, different diagnostic systems. In my career drag racing and stuff, I've always used like Race Pack. It's well known, and it's basically a digital dash, but a complete monitoring system. And now there's just a ton more out. He's talking about different brands like Motec and Haltech and stuff, and I don't really know much about them. But now with this new motor, there's so many more capabilities and tools just within the engine system itself that these new dash systems can monitor with just incredible features. And something that he brought to light that I did not know about was, for instance, Haltech systems can give you a warning that you're losing something in the engine before it's gone. And that's pretty appealing to me. So, I was pretty dead set on using the Race Pack just because familiarity, and I already have it. But I'm kind of weighing the option of upgrading to a different system for these added features to protect the engine. For instance, at the last race, if we would have had one of these systems, it probably may have been able to alert us ahead of time before something happened, and we wouldn't have had, the incident that we had. So this guy Brian's just a plethora of information, and like I said, the whole hour we were there, I just learned so much. So I'm really glad again to have him on board, and I want to thank him officially for his hospitality and letting us roam his shop and just answering all of our silly rookie questions. Really top-notch guy, and very, very clean shop. Nice equipment, as you see there is Dyno. I mean, it's super slick. Showed a clip of it earlier. There's another full clip of the full pull at the end. He ended up doing 12 full pulls with break-in and diagnostics and tuning on my engine, so I'm really confident we got the optimum horsepower tune out of it. If we ever have any upgrades or anything, I just give him a call and he's on it.
Given time. So again, with the display, you can set up your cautionary criteria for that. All of a sudden, your alternator's not putting out, it's only putting out so many amps, or say a fan amp or whatever, right? Your co-driver will go, hey, I think we might have a problem with this mic. It's not dead yet, but this fan's not looking good because it's drawn more than what we saw in pre-running. Let's swap that out at the next pit. Do it now before you get through and you're in the middle of nowhere and you can't do it. And you can have all that being monitored by the dash, where it'll start, you have the criteria set where the fan should draw no more than 12 amps. It starts drawing 14, a yellow light comes on. It starts drawing 18 and a red light comes on. So you can keep more your eyes. That's where it comes from aviation. Your eyes have to be outside.
Oh yeah.
And you need a quick glance at something, but you need to look at 25 criteria. Well, you can't go down the list. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. You need to let it tell you.
Let your peripheral vision pick up on the light.
Yeah, if a light's coming on, then you go, okay, next time I look down, now I look at the display and I go, okay, what criteria is the problem? Oh, it's that. That was giving us a problem last pre-running. I'm not going to worry about it. It might be a false.
That's good to know.
So on that display, you can change it to what you want in different positions?
You can do, Haltech is coming out, they are getting their stuff to be more user programmable. The AEM is fully programmed. I've set it up all for exactly what I want. And there's cool stuff like, you can set it up so the co-driver has like your pit speed limit.
Yeah.
You come into the pit, he flips a switch, ECM will not, it's all GPS speed monitored. It'll cut timing or fuel and won't let you go over the 10 miles an hour that's allowed through the pit, so you don't get dinged a penalty.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of cool stuff like that.
I was thinking on a display, you know, if you can set it up for your five or six major pieces that you
Configure
want,
it,
and then have the co-driver set up with, you know.
That's
some
what
other
most
stuff.
people do is they'll do like, most companies have, like Haltech, AEM both have like a 5-inch display and a 7
Yeah.
inch. They'll do the driver will get a 5-inch,
Right.
very basic stuff. And most of them have multiple pages. The AEM has 4 pages you can scroll through. So you can have very simplified ones. You can have one that's for just when you're going through the pits, maybe a big speedo number, I don't know. And then you know, the co-driver has a big 7-inch that's got everything on it. He can scroll through pages of data.
Yeah, my race pack's I think it's a 9-inch, and it's configurable. You can, each page, you can toggle through each page, and you can prioritize what.
Is the race pack still? Are they still only doing basically that display that has it's all LCD?
I think they've got 7 different ones now. You can go just from a monitoring one all the way to data log entry. Pretty elaborate.
I mean, is it full color?
No, it still looks green LCD.
Yeah, that's so it's LCD.
Yeah,
I would encourage you to. There's a lot other better solutions in my opinion.
yeah.
I'm very color coded oriented. I mean,
Yeah.
look around in our tool. I mean, we do simple stuff like blue. I know we all know it's a 10. You know,
Yeah. Just like
when you got to glance at something real fast, color coding is great, and all these new displays are full color.
Yeah.
So
There's the
you-
Haltech's full color too.
You know,
See, that was one of the reasons why I was looking at the Motec system, is because it was color, but they're freaking expensive.
I wouldn't-
So maybe the Haltech, yeah.
even like I said, I don't know where you guys. You know, you're down in Pahrump and you know, Southern Nevada is a big desert.
Yeah.
Ask around because it's honestly, you're only as good as who can help you with it.
Yeah.
And at a race, it's going to be highly more likely that the guy next to you might know something about Holly than Motec. If you need some help or you got a question to bounce off somebody, because Holly, although it's not the best, they're very well supported in the U.S. and they advertise well. So a lot of lower is going to be the Terminator X series, but a lot of the mid-range and higher end guys are going to be running the HPs and the Dominators. And I think I just saw Shannon Campbell's new car is running on a Dominator Holly.
Yeah.
That he's just getting fired up. It's probably going to run for the first time in the race. He's running on a Holly Dominator,
Yeah.
not a Motec.
Yeah.
Motec was good, you know, 20 years ago
Yeah.
when EFI was a little more in its infancy. Motec was up there, but all these other there's a half a dozen other companies in it.
Electronics has gained so much more functionality and shrunk everything down.
And
so
the
much.
quality, you know, it used to be the quality of Motec. If you were a
Motec was all
high-end
F1.
race team, you had to go with Motec to stay alive. But now, I mean, I have this is a $1,500 ECM. This is a Holly HP. So it's their. I mean, here you can. It's aluminum. It's fully potted. I mean, it's
wow.
it's a good unit.
That's a hefty unit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The Motec 5 was about that big.
Yeah. Well, a Dominator is like this big. It's
Yeah.
aluminum potted, but it's got like 48 inputs.
Yeah. That's good to know. That's good.
There's a bunch of ways, and there's cool things like AEM. I think I don't know if Holly does, but AEM has like a vehicle dynamics module. It's cheap. It's under $200, and it's a module, so it's CAN bus based. Like here's an EGT CAN bus module. So this will plug into your CAN bus with 4 wires, and you can EGTs on up to 8 cylinders. So, but they have a vehicle dynamics one that will give you 3-axis gyro GPS, so it gives you G loads in 3-axis.
Yeah.
You know, you can. What's pretty cool from a social media standpoint, they have software that'll sync that to your GoPro with the helmet cam and all that. So the guy's driving and you see the vehicle dynamics there of how much G's he's pulling in each.
So it's like an overlay onto it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's an
wow.
overlay that goes. I've done it for aviation stuff.
cool.
You have your video going, then you have all your other data that's telling you how fast you're climbing, descending, banking, turning.
Yeah.
You know.
That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
I'm stepping into new technology, so
You can get throttle position and then braking force.
But you can
Okay.
add, the thing is when you have all those inputs, they all have CAN bus based input add-on modules. So like, say you want to start, you can use your ECM and your data logging of that to track shock temperature, shock acceleration up and down, rear end differentials. You can add other things to it that's not necessarily engine related, but use those components. You have them.
they're there.
So why not data log
Yeah.
it if you have that data? You know, usually the more you have, the better.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna look into that because I think my whole race pack system was around $5,500. So I mean,
So you buy the EFI system, you have that. So like
Yeah.
a dash, an add-on dash is $1,000 to $1,500. And here's a all technique. If you want to just have your hands on
pretty cool. The cleanliness.
Oh, really?
So that's it's all aluminum
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
So that's a 7-inch, and then they just came out with I think an 11.
Yeah.
So that would be good for like the driver, and then put the
Right.
11 over on the
Right.
other side. And those
Yeah.
are, I think that's all like 1100
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Very similar to the
The race
raceback.
pack.
Yeah. They're a little longer, but well, I think Holly.
Just keep your mind open, man, and don't be feel like you gotta be stuck with it. You're gonna get some races are gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. I went with the race pack because I had it in my driver's seat, and I was just used to how it operated.
Well, there's something to that too.
Yeah, but I mean, we're upgrading everything in the truck, so, and I can sell that race pack super easy. So it might
Here's
be
the-
something to look at if it works better for this package.
This is a
Oh, that's McLean.
well. This is the AEM display.
Yeah.
So
right.
see how it's all color coded.
Yeah.
So at a glance, and then there's stuff in the background here that pops up. When I get a cautionary, one of these LEDs will come on,
Right.
but then, the fuel pressure will literally start blinking yellow at me
Right.
or something. So
Right.
at a glance, I can see, and then there's I have 4 different pages of
Right.
data
Right.
that you can scroll through too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He's a laser pointer shadow chasing dog.
Keeps staring at our feet. He's watching our shadows, I guess. Huh?
Well, you want to load this thing up?
Yeah. Let's get out of your hair. Thank you so much. So the wiring.
It's all on there.
It totally was simple to hook up. I mean, I'm totally new to this power negative, ready to roll.
Yeah, and there's a since you don't have a pedal or anything else comes with this, it's cable operated.
Yeah.
Gauge rolled up the manual. It's in here somewhere. You told me to show it in here.
Oh, okay.
It's in there, but there's a wiring thing.
Okay.
I mean, there's only a couple wires to make it run.
Right.
You run the Turbo 400, so it's pretty basic.
Yeah.
There is going to be some wires because this has an aftermarket conversion harness, so we buy them from PSI that it's made for like an LS2, LS3 conversion back to what I get on this motor. So there's going to be a bundle of wires. There's going to be a handful of them that you're not going to use, but it tells you about it.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Reach back and check up here.
You hit the door switch, the garage door on the way out, the button there.
home.
What are you gonna do with that oil pan? Are you gonna change it still, or?
Well, what do you think? Is it?
I thought it was fine. Once I looked at it closely,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of typical. It was the pickup is a stamped piece, so that's what we had to kind of push on a little bit. But the O-ring suited good, and I would be perfectly comfortable.
Okay.
I mean,
I won't disturb it then. Yeah, when you called and said you had an issue, I remember immediately ordering another one that was.
did you ever look into it?
I did, and they charged me, and it shipped, and I don't know where it went. So I put in a refund request and said item was never received type thing. I should.
It didn't show up here.
Yeah. So, yeah, really weird. And that one was.
I actually ordered one of these enough where I thought it's good enough for the average build at least to have. I might start offering them for.
What do you want to do?
I got two more. We can just X them.
Okay.
You go around, like if you take one and go around these legs and then there, and you do the other one here around the legs.
Oh, there.
We ship them on pallets like that all over the country.
Sleep this long enough. They survive. To go all the way around.
This is the
So it's mule tape.
it's kind of slippery.
It should actually have measurements on it too.
Yeah, about a foot.
Yep.
1,466 feet. A buddy of mine has like a full roll of it 20 years ago.
So as we're
Every time I see him,
getting stuff loaded up here and getting ready to say our goodbyes, again, just the hospitality of Brian to allow us in there and do some filming for the channel. Super big thank you for that. And a huge thank you to my buddy John for doing the filming. He did a great job. Even though he's a little nervous being the cameraman, but he did an outstanding job. So thanks to John, and thanks for Scott for coming all that way. He lives down here in Pahrump with me, so it was a long day of driving, but super productive. And yeah, Scott lives nearby and he's part of the team, and he's a huge asset, very knowledgeable, great mechanic, one of the smartest gentlemen I've ever met in my life. And so yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna be getting this new Bullet put in the truck with new electronics, and yeah, we're pretty excited for the 2024 season. We're gonna hopefully have this thing back up and running here probably 3 or 4 months, and then give us a couple of months of really good testing, and we would like to hit the tail end of the season like Yarrington, and maybe three good short course races towards the end of the year to kick off 2025. And you never know, there might be something big in the horizon for 2025. Might try to go for a championship run, but we'll see. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I know it seems discouraging of how the last race went and everything, but there was a lot of positives in there. And as you heard Brian say earlier, there's a lot of stuff you just can't control, and there's a lot of luck involved, and I always take that into account. But I'm paying close attention to all the systems of our truck and our program, and we're getting things really, really dialed in. I feel confident this engine was the last bit that we needed. So thanks for watching.